Assalamu alaikum. How are you, dear parents? Our lesson today about centimeter and meters. Let's start.
The essential understanding for this lesson is length and height are measurable in centimeters and meters. Previously, students used centimeters to estimate and measure an object's length or height. In this lesson, students use centimeters or meters to estimate and measure an object's length or height. They also select an appropriate measurement tool. This problem is key because students measure the length of an object in meters. They are asked to first estimate the length of a desk, then choose a ruler, meter stick, or measuring tape, and measure the length of the desk. Listen and look for students who make a reasonable estimate of the desk's length, and choose a meter stick to measure. These students may line up the meter stick with one end of the desk and mark the spot to measure 1 meter. Then, move the meter stick to the mark and measure a 2nd meter.
So, our first tool here is meter stick. Meter stick which equal, or its length equal 1 meter. So our table, its length equal 2 meters. It's about 2 meters. Let's continue.
These students have demonstrated one way to measure the desk's length. Listen and look for other students who use a measuring tape. These students should line up the 0 mark on the measuring tape with one end of the desk.
That is our second tool, measuring tape. Okay.
And record the length to the nearest meter. Point out that the length is the same regardless of the tool used. All of these students demonstrate an understanding of how to estimate and measure an object's length in meters, and how to select an appropriate tool to measure. This will help them in a later lesson, where they consider how the size of the metric unit affects the number of units in a measurement.
So we have another tool, which is ruler. You can use it with small things. Second question here wants to estimate the length or height of each real object. We have here eraser. I want to estimate its length and measure its length and say which tool I used here. So when you estimate the length of eraser, you will find it as 5 centimeters. And when you measure it with what? Yeah, with ruler. Ruler is the best tool. You can use it to measure this eraser. So here we have a window. Which tool you can use here? And pen and table. That is the answer. The best tool you can use to measure window is measuring tape. And pen is a small thing. You can use ruler. And table you can use meter stick. We have here another question. The question says that Tom uses a meter stick to measure the length of a fence. He moved the meter stick 5 times to measure from one end to the other end. So we say here meter stick which equal 1 meter length. When you use it 5 times, it will be 5 meters. It's easy. Another question. Lily says that her doll is about 30 meters long. Do you think this is a good estimate? Why and why not? We said here no. Why? Because a doll is closer to 30 centimeters long, not 30 meters. Okay, let's continue with another video.
Introduction. Long back, do you know how people used to measure the length of objects? They used their palm, forearm, or feet to measure the length of the objects. But these methods never gave accurate results. Nowadays, we make use of ruler, metric scale, and measuring tape to measure the accurate length and height of the objects. Let us learn the correct method of using a scale. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to measure the length of objects using a ruler, measure length in meters and centimeter, understand the relation between meter and centimeter. I need 4 centimeter long paper. What will I use to measure the length? Yes, you are correct. A ruler will help me to measure length. You find many divisions on the margin of the ruler. Some lines are longer while others are smaller. The longer lines represent the number in centimeters. The small lines between two long lines represent divisions of centimeter. Now we will learn to read a scale. Example. This is 2 centimeters. This is half centimeter. Similarly, this is 4.5 centimeter. Ruku wants to measure the length of different objects. Will you help him? Click on each object to measure its length. A ruler comes in different length. The first ruler seen can measure length up to 15 centimeters. The second ruler seen can measure length up to 30 centimeters. But a ruler cannot measure all objects. Ruler is used to measure only short length objects such as pencil, stick, notebook, duster, comb, etc. A measuring tape is used to measure long things. Your mother is in market to buy shirt cloth. Can the shopkeeper measure a shirt piece with a ruler? Yes, he can measure, but the work would be tedious and time-consuming. He measures it with the help of metric tape. It will take less time and less effort. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. We can measure the height of the almirah by using measuring tape. The height of the almirah is 200 centimeters. Therefore, we can say that the height of the almirah is 2 meters. Similarly, the length of walking stick is 100 centimeters, or we can say 1 meter. Let us compare the length of the various things. Some of the objects have their length in meters, while some of them are so small that they are measured in centimeters only. Length of a bread loaf is expressed in centimeters. The length of a matchbox is expressed in centimeters. The length of a skipping rope is expressed in meters. The length of a bus is expressed in meters. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. We use ruler, metric scale, and measuring tape to measure length. Ruler is used to measure length of small objects. Length can be measured in centimeters and meters. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters.
Okay, another question. Choose an object to measure and use metric units, and draw the object and write your measurement. Same. For an object, you can use metric units. But remember, metric units, it should measure long things, like table. Table is good. Choose for you. Question number 12. Circle the real object that would be about 2 meters long. Which one? Yeah, the first one, because it's meter long. But we have here a color pen, And a color pen, we can use ruler to measure it, and it will be about 10 centimeters, not meters here. Another question. Here ask me each side of a place value cube is 1 centimeter long. Use a place value cube to draw a 5 centimeter ruler, and that's easy for you. You can do it yourself. Number 14. Measure each line. Which line are at least 6 centimeters long? Choose all that apply. 6 centimeters long at least. So in other words, I want any line here equals 6 centimeters or more than 6 centimeters. You will see it will be the first one and the second one here. So dear students, we finished our lesson for today. Thank you for your